I'm Miss Edmonds, your sub for the day. Your teacher never showed up today, but we found he's taking his office. I need you to be quiet. Thank you.
Hello there. As you all know, my name is Steve Wilkins, but you all call me Mr. Wilkins, of course. But today, I'm not your boring high school science teacher. Today I'm fun. I'm Physics Steve, and this is Physics Steve Does Science. Intro. Steve does science. Steve does science. Steve, that's me. Today on the show, I'm going to teach you about Sir Isaac Newton and his laws of motion. Without Newton, the world of science would only be a fraction of what it is. Without Newton, gravity wouldn't even exist. How do you like them apples? Now, where someone like Bill Nye might teach you the laws of motion 1, 2, 3, here at Physics Steve Does Science, we're gonna mix it up countdown style and teach them to you 3, 2, 1. So sit back, cause it's time to science. Newton's third law of motion states that every action has an equal and opposite reaction. To illustrate this fact, I've enlisted the help of my good friend, Calculus Cat. Say hello, Calculus Cat. Okay. So how this is going to work is I'm going to put Calculus Cat on the other skateboard, and we're going to push off each other with equal force. And we'll see what happens. You ready? Oh, no, please. He's not cooperating. I guess I can do it myself. Newton's second law of motion states that force equals mass times acceleration. Now, I know that sounds all mathy, but what it really means is that the bigger something is and the faster it's moving, the more energy it has behind it. So, what happens when you try to push over something insignificant? Like a photo of someone who used to care about you. Well, you don't need much force. Now let's move on to something really big. What is going to happen if I try to push over this lab table? It's probably going to take a lot of force to get it moving. It's the end of the countdown, which brings us to our first and final law of motion, which begins, an object in motion tends to stay in motion, unless a force is applied to it. So for our experiment, I'm going to roll this science sphere, I'm going to roll this ball, and stop it. So let's see what happens. In retrospect, that experiment usually requires a lab assistant, and Calculus Cat is nowhere to be found. So, what did we learn from that experiment? Well, I guess objects in motion tend to stay in motion. Things that are moving away from you will keep moving away from you. Things that are moving toward you will keep moving toward you until they pass you and move away from you again and never come back. And you realize that you can't catch up to the ball or anything. Even if the ball is everything you've ever dreamed of. If you haven't caught it yet, you're not going to. And I think I'll just stop trying. So that's it for our show. Thanks for watching. I hope you've learned a lot. I have. About what to do when you can't catch up. And I think I'm gonna do it. But don't worry, I guess. Newton was right about gravity. The world will keep spinning regardless. So I guess roll credits. Physics Steve does science. Inertia is an object's resistance to change. Physics Steve does science. Physics Steve does science.
So, is he coming back?
Physics Steve. That's me.
Physics Steve does science. He experiments with science like a real scientist. Physics Steve does science. His science